to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
It's just going to be you and me today. The other guys, they couldn't make it. They were here last night, and they got families, jobs, all that kind of stuff, which I understand. My wife
always takes precedence.
Yeah, well, my wife kicks me out of the house. Go do what you want and come back when you're done. That's. But you got your new running gun coming up, right?
Yeah, coming up in November.
Tell me
the first weekend of November.
Yeah. So. Tell us all about you got. I've been seeing stuff come up on Facebook. You got all your stages figured out and all getting them all set up. I'll just let you take it from here.
Well, I do have all my stages figured out. I don't have them all posted yet. I kind of trickle information out a little bit. Keeps people coming back and checking on the page versus just posting like the whole course of fire.
No, I get it.
But yeah, we've got some pretty interesting stages coming up this year. Some of them, it's interesting because I talked to, it's kind of a pretty interesting community, the running gun community, because you have some guys who are all about the tactical games and, they just want to play the game and do that. And then they have other guys who are all about like training and stuff like that. And we kind of talked about it last year, how each running gun has its own flavor, and mine is almost goofy. Like my theme is silly, zombies and werewolves and stuff like that.
I saw one stage about a golem or something.
Golem.
I'm sorry, I'm not in. Yeah, I don't pronounce it right.
Yeah. Okay. So for people who don't know, people who aren't into the fantasy sci-fi world, a golem is basically like Frankenstein would have been a golem. It's something made of parts or made of stone or metal or anything like that the wizard has given life, basically. So it's a little different.
Like people's AR-15s.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But so like I said, my theme is almost silly with all of that. But when you get down to the flavor of the match, I don't have any circus targets. I have the only paper targets I have are in the cave. So it's almost entirely steel. It's entirely non-resetting because I like having ROs who come out and help me do these things, and I try to be nice to them. But at the end of the day, if you were a fundamentally sound all-around shooter, rifle and pistol, just a fundamentally sound shooter, you're going to do really well. And if you're not, you're going to struggle.
Right.
I don't have any really hard targets. I do have a 500-yard target, but it's a full-size dipstick. I mean, it's not a small target. It's not a precision rifle target. I mean, you just got to know your drops. You got to know your rifle. Actually, the next stage that I'm posting, which I'll post today, but if people, or I'll post it in the next few days, but if people listen to this and they'll get a little heads up, is a quick draw stage.
Oh, wow.
Walk up to the stage, you go on timer goes off, you have 5 seconds to make a single pistol shot at about 7 yards on like a little 7x9 or 7x10 target.
Right.
It's not a huge target, but it's bigger than the A zone on a standard target.
Right.
But you have 5 seconds to draw your pistol and make one solid hit.
If you know what you're doing, that shouldn't be that difficult.
It shouldn't be that hard. It's not a hard shot, and 5 seconds is forever.
Right.
Especially if you're looking at it in the terms of, this might be something I have to do in real life. Like, that's
sure.
I have to draw my pistol and make a single good hit. If you take 5 seconds to make a single good hit in real life in a firefight,
you're dead.
You're toast. Yeah, that is forever in a firefight. And, and a lot of people, I expect to see some DNFs on that stage. I expect to see some people time out on it. They're going to get in their heads. The beep is going to make them hesitate. They're going to miss the first shot, and then they're really going to try to focus on the second one, and then the time's out. There's a lot that can happen in that.
What's interesting, I'm looking at it from my world, okay? My world and your world are kind of two different worlds to a certain extent. In my world, you'd be drawn from cover, you'd be drawn from, appendix or 3 o'clock or whatever. In your world, they may be drawn from a drop leg, they may be drawn from some kind of like chest rig, something like that. So it's something that they're really going to have to, I'm sure the guys that do it really practice it, but they're really going to have to, it's a specialized deal. They're going to have to know how to draw from that rig, because there's a lot that goes into drawing a firearm and doing it efficiently and safely, and being able to get on target. So, I just said earlier, it doesn't seem like that should be that hard. But if I was drawn from a chest rig and I'd never done it that much, it'd probably slow me way down, because immediately my muscle memory goes to where I appendix carry. It doesn't go to my chest. It's that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you talk about muscle memory, because last year I had a stage. And I've told everyone this too. I haven't announced the full details on it, but I had a stage, and it's coming back this year. It's kind of a benchmark qualifier type stage to see how people improve year to year, where you clear a plate rack. You have to clear a plate rack at 15 yards, but you have to do it clean. If you miss, the plate rack gets reset. You have to make 6 solid hits at 15 yards in a row. And I have guys coming out who run these things at, IDPA matches or 3-gun matches and stuff, and they're clearing plate racks in like 3 to 4 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
But if you make them shoot it clean, my fastest time last year was 8 seconds.
Right.
And most people were in the 30 to 40 second range because they'd missed and the plate rack had reset, or they were just taking that long to make sure they get. Once you give them the stress of, if I miss, I have to restart, people really slow down.
Oh, yeah, because it's in their head.
And then, because then it gets in their head. And then if they slow down too much, the key to a good play rack, to me, is a good cadence. You get in a rhythm and you just roll down the line.
Sure.
And if they slow down too much, then they overthink it, and then they miss because of that.
Yeah.
But it's just such a simple stage that really forces you to think about how you fundamentally shoot a pistol.
Oh, yeah.
There's,
And what's funny is people, and I would imagine, because I see it out here just on my targets, and you're shooting plates, but I can imagine they go, ping, 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 hit, miss, and then that gets in their head, and they're like, oh
yeah.
It just
absolutely
floors them. Yeah.
Yeah, and last year is my first stage. This year it's going to be my 7th. But and last year having it as a first stage was kind of a soul crusher.
Oh, yeah.
People who struggled on stage 1, they really, you could tell, like at stage 2 they struggled a little bit. Stage 3 was my long distance stage last year, and I only gave them 5 shots to make a 500-yard hit on that. You're horrible
making them start like that. But to you, to crush their souls, it just makes you feel like I'm doing my job.
Absolutely. You need to, and it's interesting too, because there are some people who are fantastic shooters and are top-notch running gunners, and then there are people that I train with and that that we shoot with at these things who are top 25% or middle of the pack shooters, and I would absolutely 110% of the time take these middle of the pack people in an actual firefight over the top shooters, because if the top shooter has a bad stage, and you can see it in their scores, you can just see it.
Right.
They're screwed for the rest of the day. If they have a bad stage early on, it gets in their head and they're done. They can't deal with failure very well because they're so good at what they do.
And their bad stage may be a really good stage for that middle,
for someone else.
For someone else, yeah. They're on top of the world.
But you see it, if they have a bad stage on stage 2 or 3, the rest of their stages are not at all what they're capable of shooting, even though they're easier stages or something. It's and then but yeah, I'm all about my match is all about fundamental shooting and kind of thinking on your feet a little bit. Because, like, I have one stage this year, it's a VTAC board. And if you look, there are 9 ports on a VTAC board, 10 if you count the outside of it.
Right.
So I put 5 targets up for pistol targets, and I'm putting 5 at, like, probably 10 to 15 yards, and I'm putting 5 targets up, like, 75-ish yards for rifle. You take 1 hit on each target, but once you use that port to make a hit, you can't use it again. So now you got to think, do I take the easy ports for my rifle on the longer targets, or do I take the harder ports because I'm a better rifle shooter from awkward positions and I've never shot a pistol from a prone position? I actually did a hiking gun just on some private property yesterday. Me and some buddies went out and set up 5 stages and just did it. And one of the stages, we had to shoot through the bottom port of the VTAC board with our pistol from the prone position. And that was weird.
Oh, yeah.
That was and 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to have to do that. But if I have to shoot underneath the car,
oh yeah,
that's an absolute legitimate thing.
You should.
And we were shooting it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say I was just interrupting is what I was doing. I was thinking about shooting from the ground. You should have a stage where they fall over backwards and they have to shoot from their back. That would be kind of cool too.
We've actually had stages like that, not in my match, but we have had stages where you lay down and you shoot like basically between your feet or whatever with your pistol at 8 to 10 yards.
Learn not to shoot yourself in the kneecap.
Right. And hold your head up.
Yeah.
Getting a good sight picture whenever you're trying to hold your head up off the ground
and you're already tired and you probably got a kit on and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, covered in stick tights or, going through poison ivy and kitchen or whatever, that's something that happens. And yeah, it's a lot of fun though. It's, yesterday, like I said, we got to test a few new things beyond the prone pistol shooting. I shot a full-size dipstick I think it was at 100 yards with my pistol. Had to make 3 hits on that on one stage.
Fun.
You
talk pistol. That's my thing right there. Rifle. Rifle is not. It's absolutely not me.
Right. And then and a lot of people really downplay that long range pistol capability.
Right.
But the game's changing in the world, and if you can't make a pistol hit with your EDC at 25 yards,
oh yeah,
you need to be working on it.
Oh
and
yeah,
you know that.
Yeah, I tell everyone practice up close and get some distance and figure it out because you need to be able to do it.
Yeah, and hopefully you never have to in real life, but it's there. Then we shot this is one that you're not going to like. We shot one of the stages. Had a rifle spinner target.
Oh, wow.
And you had to spin it all the way around at 100 yards. And that is, of course, I was shooting 6.5. I shoot an AR-10.
Uh-huh.
Another guy was shooting 308 AR-10. A third guy was shooting the bolt gun in 6.5. Everyone else there were 8 other people there other than us 3, was shooting 55-grain bullets out of their AR-15. Me and the 2 other larger bore caliber guys, 3 hits, and it was spinning. The fastest that it could be done was actually out of a 12.5-inch SPR, 13 hits. It took 13 hits.
Wow.
And you have to do it right. You have to hit them at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a...
There's a lot of gaming involved, man.
Well, it wasn't necessarily gaming. That is a...
it's a skill. And you got to, but
real life.
Yeah, what I'm saying though is you got to think about it. You got to plan. You can't just pick up your rifle and start shooting. I mean, you got to plan. You got to plan this out. You got to kind of think ahead and really pay attention to what's going on. I guess that's when I say gaming. That's what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I really liked about it is that is a real life demonstration of power factor. People talk about stopping power and power factor and all that. Here's a demonstration of why 308s and 6.5s and whatever larger caliber rounds are so much better at stopping people.
Sure.
You're not. It's just the way it is. But yeah, it was like I said. We had a lot of fun yesterday. and the match coming up is going to be kind of an extension of a lot of what we did yesterday, where it's a lot of fundamental shooting applied in weird ways, but ways that people, I feel like, need to train on. Like, that's how I pick my stages. That's how I design my stages. Is okay. What do I need to train on? What does everybody need to train on?
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
And then I design them to where each individual stage kind of benefits a different style of shooter. You know, like my 500-yard stage, 6'5", 308 guys. They have an advantage there because it bucks the wind. It's just an easier shot.
Right.
But two stages before that is kind of a hoser stage where it's 20 rifle and 10 pistol. So, you know, 3-gun guys who are used to just blasting away at targets with a lot of speed, they have a significant advantage there because they run the gamer guns and they know how to run that type of stage.
So you guys you put stages in there for everyone. Some of them favor the pistol, some of them favor the larger bore, you know, long range. Some of them the 3-gun guys. Maybe some of them favor just the concealed carry guy. But yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Kind of spread the love and make one person who's good at this say, I need to work on this over here.
Right, absolutely. You know, because nobody in the world is the all-around best shooter with every gun.
Right.
Jerry Michalek aside.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but nobody is the best with everything, and so everybody needs to keep training on something. So, like my cave stage this year, we shoot in the cave.
Yeah.
This year is last year it was like 25 hits you had to make in the cave. It was 5 targets. I mean, it was a lot. So this year, to kind of go the opposite direction, you only have to make 5 hits in the cave, but they all have to be headshots, and you're going to simulate carrying a toddler. Like, I'm getting a doll, and I'm going to weight it down, and you're going to do it one-handed through a cave, carrying, you know, if you were out or whatever, and you were trying to escape zombies, and you had your kid there. Like, you need to carry your kid.
Right.
So that's an internet. I'm really curious to see how that affects a lot of people. People carry something.
You need to get one of those dolls or those babies that they use in school that will cry, and you need to make it cry and have them carry that clear through there. I bet you that'd get into their brains.
Yeah, I would. I've got. Actually, my grandma is loaning me this doll that's like 3 feet tall, and it's probably, I don't know, 100 years old or something. It's been in the family forever, and I'm going to get some weights in it. But I could probably come up with some sort of sound simulator for that.
Well, and the next step would be to put something on it I don't want to say an egg, but something that, like, you could say, okay, you were a little rough with this kid coming, this baby, and if it's got like a puncture hole in it, your freaking baby died, dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no kidding, right? But yeah, I don't know. You know, it's going to be a fun stage, regardless.
You should make him change. And, I'm sorry, I'm digging it. I'm digging
change the diaper.
Yeah, I was going to say you should make him change a diaper and shoot at a target like one-handed at the same time. That'd be freaking awesome.
Well, it's interesting because, of course, as a match director, I have an advantage because I only run my match once a year over like match directors who do monthly matches or something like that.
Right.
But I'm already thinking of like 2020, Zombie 2020, what it's looking like.
Sure.
And Zombie 2020 is actually going to be a team match. It's going to be a 2-person team that runs it together. And one of the stages, I already have it planned out. One person is going to have to put together like a 24-piece, kids puzzle, while the other person is defending them.
That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, because their brain is going to be going so fast, even just focusing on that puzzle.
They're going to have live fire going off in front of them, and loud noises, and I may have I'll probably have some sort of boombox there with lots of sound effects, I may make it werewolves or whatever it
Right.
is, howls and screams and growls and whatever. But that's gonna be a fun match to put together too, because I got to make it to where each team member has to work, where teamwork is more important really than anything else.
Right.
But that's for next year. We can deal with that when the time comes. I got to survive 2019 first.
I gotcha. And I feel kind of bad. I mean, I really wanted to attend this, but I have other goals. You follow me on Facebook, so I'm sure you see what I do. And there's just no way I could fit everything in to 1 year. There's just no way. And I was just like, I just can't do it.
So what you do is about January time frame of 2020, go ahead and just book flights for November. And then that way it's like, well, shit, I already bought the plane ticket.
I know, but so my goal next year is I want to do somewhere, probably, I don't know when. I want to do a 100-miler.
Yeah.
And so I'm eyeing a few. Some of them are in the fall. I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Right.
But I'm trying. They're so close to corresponding almost right with your date, and I'm just trying to figure out what I need to do.
I get it. That's and like I said, I always tell people real life takes precedence over games or other goals. That it all work out. But actually something that I really wish you were coming in for this year is we're doing it's a 2-day event. The last 2 years it's just been 1 day. This year I'm doing a 2-day. And on Sunday I'm doing a 5K rimfire event.
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. And registration comes up September 1st. But for the rimfire, I'm not approving anyone for 3 days to shoot the match. I'm not going to approve any slots.
Right.
Junior shooters between the ages of, I've actually had people contact me about a 6-year-old coming to shoot this 22 match. Wow. I'm like, that's a lot, I said, but if you feel comfortable and you think he can do it, hey, bring him out. I'd be glad to have him. That's awesome. I would love to have a 6-year-old shoot my match.
Will you let the parents run with them and just not carry anything?
The parents have to run with kids. Anybody under the age of 18, to a degree, like there's some 14, 15-year-olds that I'm letting run my centerfire match that are, that are solid.
They're seasoned.
Anybody who, under that is parents have to run with them. And that's what I told them. I said, look, if you feel comfortable with him shooting it, but you want to carry the rifle, because it's all rifle hits. There's one pistol hit, but I'll have a stage gun if you don't want to carry your own. I said, but if you want to carry the rifle the whole time and then just give it to him so he can shoot the stages, that's fine. This is a family fun event. It's to get junior shooters involved. It's, obstacles aren't even required. They're going to be set up. If you want to have your kid climb over the A-frame or whatever, have a blast with it. Just everybody have fun. There's no prize table. Like it's a, like I said, it's $20. My rimfire event entry fee is $20. Like, that's a cheap day.
It's the first time you're doing an actual rimfire event, right?
And it's the first time I'm doing an actual rimfire event. There was one other one done in Texas that supposedly went really well. I didn't attend, but it supposedly went really well. And honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to the rimfire because who doesn't love shooting 22s? Like, I'm going to run a Henry. I'm going to run a little Henry lever action for my rimfire event. That's.
I want you to do more pistol stuff with it, and then I'll come down. I'll bring my Keltec PMR 30.
There you go. I would absolutely do that, and I may actually, if you want, you could shoot your PMR 30. You can shoot a pistol. I don't give a shit.
That'd be sweet.
If you want to hit rifle targets with your pistol, I don't care.
I'd do it just to see if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is this, especially on this event, competitiveness really doesn't matter. And I had a couple of bigger run and gun, like lead run and gun people be like, well, you're going to have like a competitive division. And I'm like, no. I said, if you want to do that, get a group of guys together, settle on the rules that you want. I'll post the scores according to my rules, and then you can adjust. Like,
Right.
Say, okay, this group of 10 guys, we all have to do the obstacles. We're all going to run it this way, whatever. And then you guys can figure it out from there. I said, I am posting scores, but take it with a grain of salt that, if this thing fills up with 14-year-olds and you're the only 5 adults there, your top 5 scores may not matter a whole lot.
Right. Exactly. I'll be interested to hear how, especially how everything goes. But I'd really be interested to hear how that rimfire goes. That's pretty cool. The kids would really enjoy it.
Right. And that's we have some families who come out and run these things, the Centerfire events, and I'm trying to kind of promote that as run and guns are a very family friendly deal. It's something to get the whole family out. It's something to get the whole family working out. Something to bring the family together shooting, and kind of try to promote that. And we'll see if it works. Maybe it does. It may, but I don't think so. I've got a lot of people who are asking me about the 22 match versus the Centerfire match. So
you may have to just set up another rimfire match like midsummer, and then do your other match, in the fall, and usually do it.
We've actually so there's a guy down at down at Rock Castle. His name's Dave Merriman. This dude is a badass. He's upper 60s, lower 70s, somewhere in there. I met him the first time when I did my first run and gun.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else, out there running all the tactical gear and all this and that and the other, he shows up full World War II regalia, uniform, leather H harness. He's shooting he's actually shooting a Smith & Wesson 1917 revolver and an M1 Garand, right?
Oh wow!
Like pure badass,
right?
And plays fairly well. I mean, he did fairly well. He has since replaced for 1917 with a double stack 1911 and 10 mil. Still shooting the Garand though. Like that's what he shoots. Actually, last year he was one of 18 people who hit the 500-yard target.
I think I saw a video of him doing that. You posted that, right?
Yeah. He nailed it with his Garand, iron sights and all. I mean, but anyways, he actually has put off like cancer treatments in the past to do run and gun.
Oh wow! Dedicated.
Yeah, I mean the dude's he's an American hero. I mean he's everything that America should aspire to be.
Right.
But me and him have been talking about it, and we've talked about doing a run and gun with all stage guns, where you don't bring your own, you don't carry your own weapons.
Oh wow!
But do it as a 22 match so that ammo costs stay down.
Sure.
But do it all with like vintage style guns that have been converted to 22. So like a Garand trainer that shoots 22s and a 1911 that's been converted to 22s and a little 22 revolver, that's shaped like the 1917, and maybe a bolt at like a 1903 that shoots 22s or even 22 mags on that. Just all vintage military style weaponry, all iron sights, no optics, but it's all 22s, and doing that around like Memorial Day time frame. Do it as a
Memorial Day shoot, yeah.
Yeah, do it as a Memorial, as a charity shoot, and kind of do that, which I've always thought was a really fun idea. It's just a matter of sourcing enough guns.
The guns, yeah.
To do that, yeah. Which, I mean, and you could even do, like, if you wanted to do, like, one modern stage, like an M&P 22 or something, to let kids shoot the big AR-15 that shoots 22s or, whatever you want to do with it. So,
that sounds like that'd be a lot of fun. Hey, I got another question for you. Just considering the I don't want to get political here, but the whole atmosphere of guns and people, not wanting anyone to have them. Some people being scared of them or anti-gun. Do you ever receive any And I know you're not going to receive anything from the people that are actually, signing up and shooting your running guns. But have you received any kind of negative publicity, comments on Facebook? I mean, anything like that?
A little bit. I've received mainly comments on Facebook.
Right, of course.
And right, yeah. But and it was an interesting thing because these people, they messaged me that they're like, because I was promoting last year as a family friendly event, and they're like, hey, there's no way that this is family friendly. There's guns and blah 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 blah, this and that and the other. And I said, come out, come to the event. I said, I'll pay for your hotel room, I'll pay for your meals, I'll pay for your booze, whatever you want. Come to the event for one day. And we'll talk.
And then tell me it's not family friendly afterwards.
Well, and it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that. I said, come out. If you don't like it, that's fine. You can leave. I'm not forcing you to stay. And nothing like. And they actually did. They actually came out.
Really?
Yeah. They showed up. They didn't have kids, but it was a couple, and they followed me around for a few hours, and we're talking to people and having a good time. And at the end of the day, they're like, this really is kind of family friendly. It's they said, yeah, it's gun centric because that's what the event is. But we've met a lot of people who have a lot of different opinions here, and everybody's getting along. Everybody's
right,
sitting around having a good time, having healthy debates. Because there's a lot of that. I mean, we have people from all over the spectrum of any spectrum that you can imagine that does these things. With the exception being they're all basically pro-gun.
Right. So were these people just flat out like anti-gun? They'd never shot before, or were they just? I mean, did you get a feel for they're just going off what the media told them, or what?
A little bit of the media, and mostly they had never been around them.
Right. Did they get a shoot while they were there at all?
They didn't. They did, and they were offered to. I told them, I said, hey, if you guys want to shoot it, we can hook you up with gear. And no. Since then, I've seen they've gone to a range day with a few people, and they've decided that while guns aren't necessarily their thing, they're not
as bad as what they were told.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it was and I think there's a big lesson there in that. And I don't want to sound arrogant, but my response to it was not hostile.
No, yeah, no, I get
them. And there's a lot to be said for how we, as pro-Second Amendment or pro-gun or however you want to look at it, respond to the type of, because they weren't necessarily being hostile to me either. They weren't name-calling or anything like that. They were expressing some legitimate concerns.
Sure.
And I responded with, well, I can't really have this conversation on Facebook. Come talk to me. Come
right.
see me in person. And it worked out. It was a good. Everybody came away having learned something.
Right. And I've done the same thing on Facebook. I mean, I've had people. I used to advertise my classes on some different buy-sell trade pages or whatever. Or someone would share my post, and people jumped all over me, and a lot of them were being pretty vicious, And I said, "Hey, look," I said, "I don't want to argue with you." I said, "Come take a class. It's on the house. I'll provide. I'll cover the costs. I'll give you eye and ear protection. I'll teach you what you're doing. I'll provide a firearm. I'll provide ammo." And it's like, you guys don't even realize how much it's actually going to cost me in the long run, but. They never did show up. But you know what? They didn't say anything after that. I heard nothing but crickets. I mean, and they just go away because they're not used to someone reacting that way to what they do because they're looking for a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's become a kind of a mark of society, and it's interesting because the best example of it I've ever heard, and this is going completely off topic a little bit.
That's okay. That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. A buddy of mine raises bees. Okay?
Right.
And he was talking to me a couple years ago because I'm wanting to get into bees, and it's something I'm looking at and all that. And he was talking to me about bee size. apparently honeybees come in lots of various sizes.
Right.
And you can actually evolve your bees up or down. Like, you get a beehive, you can evolve the next set of bees that are born or whatever, they're up or down size by adjusting the size of the honeycombs.
Yeah.
And he said for the last 100 years or so, Americans have had the biggest bees in the world because we're Americans and big is better and football players and blah, 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 and,
Right.
and that's what they, that was the mindset. He said, scientifically, about 2 sizes down from what is now the classic American bee is the most efficient honey producer available. He said, but society hasn't been ready to hear that for the last 100 years. He said, now we're starting to look at that kind of stuff. And that's a really good metaphor for what we were talking about. Our initial reaction as Americans tends to be to puff up our chests and dig in and really, and that may not always be the best reaction to have.
Right.
And sometimes it absolutely is the best reaction to have. Sometimes there's no other reaction than reacting that way. But you got to step back and kind of look at things from different angles too. To me, I don't know.
No, I know. I get exactly what you're saying, and I feel that responding the way you did or the way I did, I think most of the time that's probably the best way to respond. Because then, if they do want to fight, you don't even hear from them. Because how are they going to respond to that? Right. I mean, they've said something nasty. Yeah.
You make them the asshole in the group.
Yeah, it's like, basically. And sometimes I've told them, hey, look, I don't know if you've ever shot before. I ask them some questions. Sometimes they'll answer. And I'll say, you've never shot before. How can you hate something you've never done? Come try it out. If you try it out and you don't like it, then fine. Don't like it. But you can't hate on something that you've never tried. I mean, you just can't, because you have no reason. You've got no factual information that you have come up with, no actual experience with it. So how can you hate it? You can't. It's like looking at a carrot. I don't like carrots. Well, have you tried a carrot? No, I've never eaten a carrot. Well, how do you know you don't? It could be the best thing ever. You don't know.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Absolutely. But,
I mean, just like a little kid, your dad says, don't touch the hot wire. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to freaking touch that hot wire and find out why I'm not supposed to touch it and why I'm not supposed to like it.
Not supposed to touch it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's, I've had some other people who have private messaged me and basically just spewed some hatred for the gun community. I don't know if that came from my running page or just my page in general. Because, you said we follow each other on Facebook. I'm pretty actively pro-gun.
Sure.
So, and I tell people I'm not hard to find. I'm always up to talk or whatever. But
right.
And sometimes I do get some hate mail from that. But oh well, I just delete the message and move on.
Yeah,
that's the way they want to play it.
I just grab it before other people can see it.
Yeah, they got to say their piece. They got to, whatever. That's them.
Well, good. But, do you have a lot of people signed up for this? I mean, have you opened up registration, or where you sitting?
Registration, like I said, registration opens up September 1st.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
No, you're good. At noon Central Standard Time.
Okay.
So that's an hour ahead of you guys, but that way it's a Sunday. So I normally open it up at like 8 in the morning on whatever day, or 10 in the morning. But since it's a Sunday, I pushed it back for churchgoers.
You are like super nice, because whenever I sign up for my races over here, they always open up at like 12 a.m. And so I'm that guy that sets his freaking alarm. He gets up and punches. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Go back to sleep. I'm signing up for a race."
Well, it's that's I've had issues with stuff like that, which my match has never actually sold out.
Right.
But a buddy of mine, he runs 2 matches at Rock Castle, and like the one that's coming up here in about 3 weeks in September, he opened registration up. I think the 5K sold out in like 4 minutes, and
Oh,
the 10K
wow.
sold out in like an hour and a half or
And
something.
how
like
many
that.
how many people is he allowing to sign up for those things?
I think he's got like 80 5K runners and 70 10K runners.
Wow. And how many do you let in yours?
I'm allowing 75 for my 10K, and then I'm allowing 50, which sounds backwards, and it is a little bit. But since my 5K is on Sunday, I want to, honestly, I'm being a little selfish. I want to get it started relatively early in the morning. First runner will probably step off at 8 or 8:30, and I want to get done, and I want to go home.
Sure. Well, no, I know. I'm sure it's a very stressful weekend for you, at least.
Well, actually, I was talking to a buddy of mine about it the other day. He was asking how it was going, and he's thinking about putting on his own running gun. And he said, so how many hours do you have into one of these things? I said, so far, or will I have total? He said, well, just so far. He said, for Zombie 2019, how much do you have in it right now? And I kind of did some quick math calculations, and I have about 240 hours in it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll be taking off work the week leading up to it. I'm going down on Wednesday morning, setting up all the stages on Wednesday, proofing the course. I'll actually be doing my run on Thursday, RO's run on Friday, 10K on Saturday, 5K on Sunday, and then I have to tear the course down.
Yeah.
So I probably won't be home until Sunday midnight, or Monday if I decide to stay down there. But I mean, just the weekend of for me starts Tuesday night, Wednesday morning kind of time frame.
So you just like disappear for a week then, pretty much, and you're just like, nobody contact me. I'm busy.
Yeah, absolutely, I do, and it's it's a lot on. I have the greatest wife in the world. She's supportive of it, and she lets me do it, and and all that, and it's a week away from the kids, and I mean there's a lot that goes on to that, But so I'm only allowing 50 for the 5K. If people don't like it, they don't have to come.
There you go. There you go. No, it's your race. Do what you want. I think it's awesome that you like we talked before. Quite the following over there for all the different running guns, and it's definitely not really a thing over here yet. I mean, it really isn't.
We were actually, because yesterday we had, at that hiking gun I was at, we had 4 or 5 match directors. 3 of them are co-match directors for the same event, for Heartbreak. One of them is Matt Stinnett. He's the guy who runs the March match and the Legion match at Rock Castle. He's the guy who is, which if he listens to this, he'll laugh, but he's kind of my hero on this because, I model a lot of what I do off of what he does. And he, like I said, he'd laugh to even hear that. But, and then me, and we were talking about it, and a buddy of mine and Matt's lives in Washington State.
Oh, okay.
And he flies in. Like, he flies to Kentucky, he flies down to Oklahoma, he flies to Texas to do these running guns. And, there's been some more people in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, who have been flying in for these things. They're like, man, I wish there was something even in the Northwest. And it's funny because, like, if say there's a match, like, in your area, Jeff Burton would still have to fly to you because it's like a 14-hour drive. Like, it's
right. Oh, yeah.
There's to really populate that area of the country, you'd need 6 or 7 different locations to have these things.
Sure.
And we were kind of talking about, and the climate up there is just not conducive to having these. I mean, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot more hurdles to, especially, we were talking about Washington State specifically, especially in Washington. It's
so wet and rainy. Yeah.
Well, that's not really a big deal. It's it's more along the lines of just everyday ranges struggle to stay in operation in Washington State. and saying, yeah, we're going to import 100 people for a weekend to run around in full tactical gear with rifles and pistols and shoot at shit, the local government would just laugh at you. Like, there's no way.
Oh well, yeah, no, especially in Washington. I would like to think something like that could go. You know, I've thought about it since we talked last, but I'd like to think something like that would go over okay. You know, in Idaho, but it's just finding someone that has the. I mean, because we got a lot of ground here, but it's like BLM and. You know, there's all the and they're not going to let you do that. And then depending on when you want to do it, I mean, we have crazy fire seasons here, and you know, right now everything, you know, not everything that's just started, but we got, you know, I got a fire not very far away from where I am sitting right now. 70,000 acres has burned.
Right? Yeah, that's insane.
And it's just
and how do you
crazy.
plan an event around that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they already, I mean, how do you? And I don't know. It's just. You need a place like it's Rock Castle, right? You need a place like a place that is designated just for that. That is, I mean, how many acres is that place?
It's 2,200. It's 2,200 acres.
You'd have to have someone give you permission on a ranch, and then they're not going to because there's cattle and there's this.
now Pawnee, the one in Oklahoma, or one of the ones in Oklahoma, they do it on private ground. It's on a ranch, and the rancher, I don't know all the details, but from what I can tell is a buddy of the two match directors.
Sure. And
he allows them to run it. They run 2 a year, but he kind of picks the weekends. Okay, you can do it this time and this time, you know.
Right.
In between when I'm
moving cows.
Cows and corn. And there's a lot that goes into it. And then the match directors pay for all of the liability insurance themselves, which actually isn't as much as I thought it was. You can get a pretty good liability insurance for something like this reasonably cheap. I say reasonably, it's still, you know, several $100s.
Sure,
but
that's pretty cheap, really.
Right? Yeah, all for, you know, $1 million plus and coverage. It really is pretty cheap. But you know, they pay. I think they pay the landowner some. He gets some of the match fees. There's just a lot that goes into it. And yeah, I mean, if you get lucky and find a rancher who has, you know, 500 acres or something, you can run one. You can run 5K on 500 acres pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
But then actually yesterday, the farm we were on for this little private event is like 200 acres or something like that. And we set up a 5K, and the course was easy. Mapping out the course was easy because it was all like log roads and stuff like that. Going into a space that has never been used as a range, never ever been used as a firing range, and figuring out fields of fire, like, okay, am I aiming at any part of the course here? Do I have sufficient backstop?
Sure.
Oh shit, I can only see 65 yards here, and I was planning on a rifle stage. I guess we need to clear out, you know, back through the trees, clear a lane another 20 or 30 yards, or are we going to change it, or are we just going to shoot at it where it is and hope that nobody, you know, I mean, it was a really interesting thought process, taking a place that had never been shot on before and turning it into a range facility.
Yeah, because there's no developed shooting stations. There's no developed spots. I totally get it. You guys are starting from scratch. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. We got to do some stuff, like I said, that we normally wouldn't do. And he wants to set up some permanent shooting stations. He wants to set up like a permanent course there for some people to come in and train on and do some things. The farm owner, Gary, was super good dude, super good guy. But he wants to set his place up for stuff like that. And so we may have a third spot here in Kentucky to run another running gun at some point. But that's a few years down the road. That's your 22 match location right there.
Actually, I've had that thought yesterday. I had that thought yesterday because our longest rifle shot, they actually built a tower. He has a field, and they built a tower to get out to 400 yards. We had a 400-yard shot. That stage was wild, actually, because that was the stage with the prone pistol shooting, the spinner rifle target, and the 400-yard shot. So what it actually ended up being was we had a barricade with 2 VTAC boards on it, without the crenellated edges. It was just solid walls.
Mm-hmm.
You had to lean out around the right side of the wall and make 2 hits on a 16-inch plate at 25 yards. Then you had to make 2 hits on that same 25-yard plate with your pistol through 3 of the ports in the VTAC. You could pick whatever 3 you wanted, but one of them had to be from the prone position. One of them had to be one of the bottom ports.
Right.
Then you had to stand up and lean around the left side of the wall and make 2 more hits. So 10 pistol hits were involved in that. And then they had dump barrels for insurance purposes. You dump a pistol
Mm-hmm.
in the barrel. You carry your slung rifle. It was I think 16-foot ladder, which it was part of the tower, but it was a 16-foot ladder climb up to the top of this tower. You made 2 hits on a 6-inch plate at 50 yards, 2 hits at 400 on a 16-inch plate, 2 hits at 200 on a 16-inch plate, and then you spun the spinner at 100 yards.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
It was a long stage, but it was a lot of fun. I actually had the second fastest time. I was at 1 minute and 37 seconds.
Oh, look at you.
Clock.
Good job.
Well, thank you. But I was shooting an AR-10, and that's what took the time. Like, hitting that spinner. And beyond that, I went 1 for 1 on all the rifle targets. Like, out at 400 yards, I didn't miss. The guy shooting 55 grainers, that's a long shot. And the wind was kind of blowing, and it was, they had to figure all that out. And me coming from a precision rifle world, which is weird for me to say because I didn't. I grew up shooting bullseye shooting with iron sights.
Right.
Like that's what I did. So to me, hitting a bullseye is much more important than how fast I'm shooting. And then that kind of spilled over into the optics world when I bought my RPR. My RPR, my big bolt gun, was the first gun I ever shot that had a scope on it.
Oh,
ever.
wow.
Like, I shot iron sights exclusively. And it was a big change. It was like, holy shit, I can see a lot farther.
Oh, yeah, I bet. I would time out on those stages because, man, I'm not good with my rifle.
Well, that's something you need to practice. But honestly, that stage would be way too long for like an actual run and gun event. It was great for the 10 people that we had there.
Sure.
But for one where you're trying to move 75 people through it just wouldn't work out.
Take all day.
Right. Actually, after we all shot it, again, Matt Stennett, the match director, buddy of mine, he was like, I think I'm going to just use the spinner at some point at one of my matches, and that'll be the stage.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, it's 0 reset. It's simple setup, and it's a very fundamental test. Again, you have to make hits when hits count. If you hit that spinner at the wrong time, you just lost all momentum. I mean, it'll stop it dead if you hit it whenever it's swinging back at you.
Oh yeah.
But it was a lot of fun, and you'd be all right. You'd be all right shooting your rifle. You'd be okay.
Well, someday, hopefully, I can make it out there and get it taken care of. I just got to make it a priority.
Right. Well, until then, start training the rifle more. Like, I know you put on pistol classes and all that,
right.
but go shoot your rifle, man. And if you don't have like 100 yards or 200 yard range, shoot 22s and shrink the target.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to people about that on this 500-yard shot. You know, they were like, I don't have a place where I can practice a 500-yard shot. I said, so shoot it a dime at 200.
That makes perfect sense. That's really intimidating, but yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Well, and it's funny because last year people were like, and I was on a precision rifle form at that point. I wasn't talking in running gun terms. Running gun terms, if you're hitting a dime at 200, you were taking way too long to aim. But I was on a PRS board,
Right.
and they were like, nobody can hit a dime at 200 yards, and I was like, what? So I went out and I did it, and then I did it at 250, and I almost did it at 3 because I gave myself 5 shots at
Right.
each distance
Right.
to do it, and I came within about an inch. I was about an inch off of the dime at 300 yards. But I hit it at 200 and 250. I mean, I punched a hole right through it. And I'm like, if you can't practice at 5, shrink your target.
If you ever make it down this way, dude, swing by. We'll do some shooting. I don't know if you ever come to Idaho, but
Well, I don't a whole lot. Last time, let's see here. I've been to Idaho once in my life. I did when I was living in Fargo, I did a run over into Idaho for some horses for a buddy of mine. But yeah, we'll like I said, man, hell, you don't even have to come in for a running gun. If you guys get a week off or something,
Right.
fly in. I've got 17 and a half acres here. Got a full campground. I got a full guest bedroom downstairs. Bring the family. Make it a week. Make it a vacation.
it'll be fun.
We
Maybe
will,
I'll feel rich. I'll drive the old Scout up there.
There you go. My Scout is actually sitting in the shop waiting on a transmission.
Okay.
I blew reverse out of my Scout, and I wasn't going to fix it. Like, I was just going to have them fix the transmission, but I think I'm just going to swap it out. It's easier just to do a swap.
Yeah, mine is just it's a never-ending project, but I've had fun with mine
Oh, yeah.
this year. I don't know if you've seen the pictures and stuff, getting it up into the hills, and I think I got to save my pennies, but I think next year I want to put an Atlas T case in it. So
There you go.
we'll
There
see
you go.
we'll see what happens. We'll see if I can save that money up and not buy another gun in the meantime or something like that.
Right. That's my problem. Is I have horses, I have my Scout, and I have my guns, and they're all really expensive hobbies.
Yes, they are. So you know what?
But-
It was, I don't think we got, we're just busy. I was busy, you were busy, and just life in general. But we never did do an actual follow-up call after your last year's run and gun. So
No,
I'd
we
still
didn't.
like to try and get that done this year. After this
for
one,
sure.
I'll pay attention online, on Facebook and whatnot. You let me know when you get done with it. Say, if it takes you a few weeks afterwards, let stuff settle down. Get a hold of me, and we will make it happen.
Yeah, for
even
sure.
if it's just you and me, we'll get you on here. But I appreciate you joining me on what I'm going to call Family Day, which is Sunday. You have to
There you go.
thank your wife for me.
Yeah, I will. Actually, to be honest, man, I'd like to come on, which maybe I'm inviting myself or whatever, just
Well-
on one of your regular shows because, and me and you have kind of talked about it.
Oh, we'll have
I
you
hear
on.
you guys talk about 10 millimeters or that little NAA pocket pistol, and I'm like, man, that is my wheelhouse. You all are talking my language, and
Yeah, no, I'll definitely have you on. What we'll have to do is we'll have to wait for. We usually do them Saturday evenings, and we'd have to wait for a day that I didn't have a class, because when I have a class, I don't have time to prepare anything. I literally leave my class. I drive, I go inside my house for a second, and then I come back out here and do the show. So we'll have to wait for a day. I'll just kind of keep an eye on it. I'll let you know. We'll wait for a time when I have a little time to prepare and set up everything. And we'll
sounds
get
like
you
a
on.
plan, man.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on. I don't know if you enjoy our podcast. I mean, we get
I
a little
do.
carried away sometimes.
Yeah. It's all right. Like I said, you guys speak my language a lot, which, like I said, me and you talked about it. That little NAA pistol was fantastic, but so I think it was Dean that was worried about it or something. And it's I carry it everywhere. I've got it in my cargo pocket right now. I carry it swimming. I do the whole 9 yards.
Okay,
that thing,
cool.
That thing goes everywhere with me. yeah, I do enjoy it. Actually, I need to go back and find your YouTube video and enter it into the Yeet Cannon
Oh, yeah.
freaking drawing, man.
You like I got to get out some more Yeet Cannon videos. I've been just swamped at work. It's just been crazy, but maybe I'll get another one out today. You watched the first one though, the unboxing video.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I don't know. I've been trying to get High Point to actually sponsor the run and gun.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and that the High Point execs that I've met are interested. The problem is High Point is a pretty small company. It's actually like only 15 or 20 people.
Right.
And they run all of their marketing through another firm. So I have to talk this other firm into
doing it.
But what I would really love if they were to sponsor this year is I have a stage that's going to have 3 stage guns. You only get to shoot one, and they get picked at random for you. I really wanted them to send me a 10mm carbine High Point
yeah.
and put that in as one of the stage guns. And then at the end of the day, it goes on the price tag one, and somebody goes home with it. Because I don't own one, but I've shot like 4 or 5 of them, and
they're fun.
And I really like their carbine. I honestly like their pistols too, but I really like their carbine.
Right. Yeet Cannon. I tell you, this Yeet Cannon is something else. So I don't clean guns. Okay, I need to, but I don't.
Right. Yeah, I don't either.
I took the Yeet Cannon apart the other day. I tried to make a video with it. It didn't turn out real well, so I might redo it. But anyhow, I tell you what, if you lube your gun, your Yeet Cannon, if you lube your Yeet Cannon with bacon grease and you shoot like 35, 40 rounds through it as fast as you can, it starts to smell like breakfast.
Oh man,
it's freaking fantastic!
I'll have to try that.
It's fantastic.
That's America in a box right there.
And the dogs stay real interested too.
Oh, I bet. I've never used bacon grease as lube. I lube my AK with white lithium grease. Okay. Actually, which a lot of people look at me like I'm weird. That's actually Jim Fuller's recommendation.
Sure.
Like the AK God recommends white lithium grease for AKs. For my ARs and stuff, I use whatever is handy, up to and including used motor oil.
I'm telling you right now, you can't go wrong with bacon grease. I got to cook and eat a whole pound of bacon, and then I got to clean my gun, and then go out, shoot the gun, and smell it all over again. It was awesome.
Oh man, I'm gonna give it a shot. That's gonna happen.
You got to give it a shot. But keep an eye out for more of the Yeet Cannon videos. And if you want to enter into the contest, I'll tell you what, you can go watch the video again if you want. But if you just go on to iTunes, and go on to where find the podcast, the Patriot Defense Podcast on iTunes, leave me a review. Give it some stars. Just leave a review, and I'll see that it'll pop up, and I'll put your name right in the contest there.
Awesome. Yep, I will get that done for sure.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm going to let you go because I actually have to head to town and take care of some other stuff before my, I don't know, I want to say days off. My week. It wasn't really a weekend. I kind of worked all weekend, but
right.
Yeah. So I got to get some stuff done. But I appreciate you calling in. Appreciate being able to talk to you. Stay in touch. I'll stay in touch. I will get you on one of our regular shows as well. So okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, Tiger.